too. acknowledge the presence of the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister of St. Martin, the Honorable Silveria Jacobs, accompanied by the Secretary General of the Council of Ministers.
Good morning, members of Parliament, support staff, radio listeners, TV viewers, online viewers, and members of the media. We've established a quorum of 11 members. I open this solemn meeting, which has been convened on the occasion of the acceptance of the office of Governor of St. Martin by Mr. Ajamo G. Bailey, LLM. In accordance with Article 3 of the Regulation for the Governor of St. Martin, the Governor accepts his office by submitting copies of the Royal Decree concerning his appointment of the official record of the oath-taking in a solemn meeting of Parliament convened for that purpose, and notifies the people of his acceptance of his office by proclamation. We gather here today in Parliament in the House of the People to comply with the aforementioned. Today is an important day in the history of our young country, St. Martin. Today, October 10, 2022, on our Constitution Day, the second Governor of St. Martin will come to Parliament to accept his function as Governor and notify the people of St. Martin of his acceptance of the office. Please stand for a moment of silence. I have received notice of absence from Member of Parliament Christophe Emmanuel. For this special occasion, we have several invitees. I would like to first and foremost welcome the Honourable Member of Parliament. I would like to also welcome the Honourable Ministers of the Council of Ministers, the Honourable President of the Court of Justice, the Honourable Vice President of the Court of Justice, the Honourable President of the Constitutional Court, the Préfet of Saint-Martin, the Honourable President of the Collectivité, Vice Chair Lady of the Council of Advice, Chairman of the General Audit Chamber, Ombudsman, Chairperson of the Social Economic Council, Chairperson of the Central Voting Bureau, Chairperson of the Corporate Governance Council, Chief Public Prosecutor, Secretary General of the Council of Ministers, Secretary General of the Courts, Secretary General of the Council of Advice, Secretary General of the General Audit Chamber, Secretary General of the Ombudsman, Secretary General of the Social Economic Council, Director of the Integrity Chamber, Secretaries General of the Ministry of Government, Lieutenant Colonel Machouche, Commander of the Military Detachment on St. Martin, Commander of the Volks Voluntary Corps VKS, Director of the Cabinet of the Governor, President of the Youth Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I will now appoint the members of the Reception and Departure Committee And for this committee, I appoint MP Rolando Bryson, MP Solange L. Duncan, and MP Melissa D. Gums. I will adjourn the meeting so the members of the Reception and Departure Committee can proceed to the entrance of the Parliament building and wait at the stairs to receive and escort His Excellency, the Governor, his entourage to the General Assembly Hall of Parliament. I hereby adjourn this meeting.
Yeah, I have a guy in my shot though. Some guy on the side.
Back more this way. Go there. Go there.
Yeah. Animal. Hey. Hey. Up. Up. Over. Over. Clear. Clear. I did. Rest. Rest. Up. Up. Excuse me. Forward. Forward. No. 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 He come, Ruby, he coming on the other side.
So that's why
Yeah.
you went along with.
Yeah, he coming from the other side. So he's switching this. I have to go on the... I can't go on the other side. I'm gonna be with people. This is as much
The Governor. As of October 10, 2010, the Kingdom of the Netherlands comprises 4 countries: Aruba, Curaçao, the Netherlands, and Saint Martin. As a result, Saint Martin has its own governor as of that day. The governor functions as an organ of country Saint Martin and an organ of the King. The Governor. As of October 10, 2010, the Kingdom of the Netherlands comprises 4 countries: Aruba, Curaçao, the Netherlands, and Saint Martin. As a result, Saint Martin has its own governor as of that day. The governor functions as an organ of country Saint Martin and an organ of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The king of the Kingdom of the Netherlands is King Willem-Alexander. Because the king cannot be in all 4 countries simultaneously, a governor is appointed to represent the king in the other countries. The governor is the head of the government of Saint Martin. As head of government, the governor is immune and the ministers are responsible. Together with the ministers, the governor forms the government of Saint Martin and as such exercises executive powers. These executive powers are related to the establishment and announcement of national ordinances and the signing of national decrees containing general measures, the appointment, suspension, and dismissal of civil servants, the management of the finances and properties of Saint Martin, the granting of suspension of sentence and dispensations, and granting permission for military aircraft and vessels of a foreign power to enter airspace or territorial waters of Saint Martin. Other functions of the governor are, in the hands of the governor, the accepting of official duty and taking the oath or the declaration and affirmation by, among others, members of parliament, ministers, members of the council of advice, members of the general audit chamber, the attorney general, and judges. Delivering the governor's address in a meeting of parliament at the beginning of the new parliamentary year, which is on the 2nd Tuesday of September. This address outlines the plans and policies of the government. Being the chairman of the Council of Advice and having an advisory function and participating in the legislative branch of government by presenting draft national ordinances for approval to Parliament and enacting them after approval. The governor is also an organ of the kingdom and as such represents the government of the kingdom. As an organ of the kingdom, the governor in regards to St. Martin guards the general interests of the kingdom, is responsible for the implementation of kingdom law, general administrative measures and international treaties and oversees compliance of those treaties. For this reason, the governor is involved in maintaining the independence and the defense of the kingdom, foreign relations, the Dutch nationality, and the regulation of the knighthoods or royal decorations. The governor unifies the countries of the kingdom in the absence of the king. The bond/unity is manifested in the role of the governor as representative of the king and kingdom government in Saint Martin. Today, October 10, 2022, the country Saint Martin will have its second governor, His Excellency Meester Ajamo G. Bailey, the governor.
I herewith reopen the meeting. Please rise for the arrival of His Excellency the Governor Designate, Mr. Ajamo G. Bailey, LLM. I welcome His Excellency and his entourage to this solemn meeting. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the St. Martin song performed by Mrs. Lavon Hodge Henry and Mr. Kenyo Bailey, accompanied on guitar by Mr. Michael Wilson.
Where over the world, say where, you'll find an island there, so lovely small, with nations free, with people French and Dutch, though talking English much, as the St. Martin in the sea. Oh, sweet St. Martin's land, so bright by beach and strand, with the sailors on the sea and harbors free, where the chains of mountains green variously in sunlight sheen. Oh, I love thy paradise, nature's beauty fairly nice. Oh, I love thy paradise, nature's beauty fairly nice.
How pretty between all queens, flamboyant gleam and gleam, of flowers red, by sunlight set, like cows and sheep and goats, and meadows on roads, thy donkeys keep, I can't forget. Oh, sweet St. Martin's land, so bright by beach and strand, with sailors on the sea and harbors free, where the chains of mountains gleam variously in sunlight sheen. Oh, I love thy paradise, nature's beauty beauty fairly nice. Oh, I love thy paradise, nature's beauty fairly nice.
Saint Martin, I love thy name, in which Columbus fame of memories of old now close.
For me a great delight, thy Southern Cross the night. May God the Lord protect thy coast. Oh, sweet St. Martin's land, so bright by beach and strand, with the sailors on the sea and harbors free, where the chains of mountains green variously in sunlight sheen. Oh, I love that paradise, nature's beauty fairly nice. Oh, I love that paradise, nature's beauty fairly nice. Oh, I love that paradise, nature's beauty fairly nice. Oh, I love thy paradise, nature's beauty very
I would like to request His Excellency the Governor Designate to submit copies of the royal decree concerning the appointment of the official record and the oath taking in accordance with Article 3 of the Regulations of St. Martin. I would like to request the Secretary General of Parliament to read the royal decree and the official record.
Wij, Willem-Alexander, bij de gratie Gods, koning der Nederlanden, prins van Oranje-Nassau, enzovoort, enzovoort, enzovoort. Besluit van 15 september 2022, nummer 2022-001964, houdende de benoeming van de heer A.G. Bailey tot gouverneur van Sint Maarten. Op de voordracht van de staatssecretaris van Binnenlandse Zaken en Koninkrijksrelaties van 13 september 2022, nummer 2022-0000340066, Directoraat-Generaal Koninkrijksrelaties, in overeenstemming met de conclusie van de Raad van Ministers van het Koninkrijk der Nederlanden van 26 augustus 2022. Gelet op artikel 2, derde lid van het Statuut voor het Koninkrijk der Nederlanden en artikel 1, tweede lid van het Reglement voor de gouverneur van Sint Maarten. Artikel 10 van het Statuut voor het Koninkrijk der Nederlanden in acht genomen zijnde, hebben goedgevonden en verstaan. Enig artikel. De heer A.G. Bailey, geboren op Sint Maarten op 15 augustus 1977, wordt met ingang van 10 oktober 2022 voor een periode van 6 jaar benoemd tot gouverneur van Sint Maarten. Onze minister van Binnenlandse Zaken en Koninkrijksrelaties is belast met de uitvoering van dit besluit. Dat zal worden geplaatst in de Nederlandse Staatscourant en in het publicatieblad van Sint Maarten, en waarvan afschrift zal worden verzonden aan de Raad van State van het Koninkrijk, de Algemene Rekenkamer, de beide Kamers der Staten-Generaal, de Raad van Ministers van Sint Maarten, de gouverneur van Sint Maarten, de gevolmachtigde minister van Sint Maarten, de gouverneur van Curaçao, de gevolmachtigde minister van Curaçao, de gouverneur van Aruba en de gevolmachtigde minister van Aruba. 's-Gravenhage, 15 september 2022. Getekend Willem. De staatssecretaris van Binnenlandse Zaken en Koninkrijksrelaties, Digitalisering en Koninkrijksrelaties, Alexandra van Huffelen. Afschrift Kabinet van de Koning. Proces verbaal van beëdiging. Op 4 oktober 2022 heeft ten overstaan van Zijne Majesteit de Koning en in aanwezigheid van ondergetekende de heer Adjamu Bailey LLM als gouverneur van Sint Maarten de eed afgelegd, vastgesteld bij artikel 2 van het reglement voor de gouverneur van Sint Maarten, getekend de plaatsvervangend directeur van het kabinet van de Koning, Dr. F.J.J. Prinsen. We, Willem Alexander, by the grace of God, King of the Netherlands, Prince of Orange-Nassau, etc., etc., etc. The decision of September 15th, 2022, number 2022-001964, on the appointment of Mr. A.G. Bailey to the position of Governor of St. Maarten, by nomination of the State Secretary for Interior Affairs and Kingdom Relations of September 13th, 2022, number 2022-0000340066, Directorate General for Kingdom Relations, pursuant to the decision of the Council of Ministers of the Kingdom of the Netherlands on August 26, 2022. Considering Article 2, third paragraph of the Charter for the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and Article 1, second paragraph of the Regulation for the Governor of St. Maarten, having observed Article 10 of the Charter for the Kingdom of the Netherlands, hereby have approved and determined. Sole article. Mr. A.G. Bailey, born in St. Maarten on August 15, 1977, is appointed Governor of St. Maarten for a 6-year term effective October 10, 2022. Our Minister for Interior Affairs and Kingdom Relations is charged with the implementation of this decree, which shall be published in the Dutch Government Gazette and the Government Gazette of St. Maarten, with copies distributed to the Kingdom Council of State, the Court of Audit, both houses of the Parliament of the Netherlands, the Council of Ministers of St. Maarten, the Governor of St. Maarten, the Minister Plenipotentiary of St. Maarten, the Governor of Curaçao, the Minister Plenipotentiary of Curaçao, the Governor of Aruba, and the Minister Plenipotentiary of Aruba. 's-Gravenhage, September 15, 2022. Signed, Willem, and the State Secretary for Interior Affairs and Kingdom Relations, Digitalization and Kingdom Relations, Alexandra van Huffelen. Copy, Cabinet of the King. Official record of the oath of office. October 4th, 2022, before His Majesty, the King, and in the presence of the undersigned, Mr. Adjamu Bailey, LLM, as the Governor of St. Maarten, duly took the oath of office stipulated by Article 2 of the Regulation for the Governor of St. Maarten. Signed, the Deputy Director of the Cabinet of the King, Dr. F.J.J. Prinsen.
Thank you, Secretary General. I now give the floor to His Excellency the Governor to address the Parliament and the people of St. Maarten.
Madam Chairlady, members of Parliament, my fellow St. Martiners, good morning and happy Constitution Day. I, Ajamo Bailey, have just handed over to this esteemed body a duplicate of the royal decree concerning my appointment and the official record of my oath-taking, and I am about to notify you, the residents, of my acceptance of the office of governor. But before I do that, Madam Chairlady, please permit me to share with you a story. A story about a village, its greatest asset, and progress. The village. I stand before you today not as a product of my own concern, but of one modeled, encouraged, invested in, loved, and inspired by my village. A village built on blood, sweat, and tears, inspired solely by a vision of a better tomorrow. The tomorrow of then that we experience today. A heritage of our ancestral village. We are all here as a result of the struggles, actions, and triumphs of our direct and distant ancestors. You see, it took a village to raise this child. You brought me to this point. It is only right that I do my part to ensure that we are able to bring the next villager to this or whichever point they wish to arrive at. This in order to keep the circle of life flowing, maintaining our human capital. To the St. Martin diaspora, your village needs you. Its greatest asset. So, what is the greatest asset of our village? Is it our beautiful beaches, the sunshine, our lush green hills, our expansive hilltop views, our world-class cuisine, uniqueness of our French and Dutch side, and the list goes on and on. I once read that a person or people will never rise above the opinion they have of themselves. What opinion do we have of ourselves? It is said that we are traditionally hardworking, friendly, proud, and a resilient people. We were entrepreneurs long before entrepreneurship was a thing. My grandmother, Mistress Olney Sherwood Romney, ran a successful bakery right here on Back Street, selling amongst others some of the sweetest sweetbreads you've ever tasted. And I say the following with all respect to those baking sweetbreads today. I have yet to taste another that comes even close. But hey, I'm biased. She also had a franchise of this bakery on Anguilla, where she also had property. My great-grandmother, Miss Ela Brown, we called her Gran, farmed cattle on Bush Road, right here in cul-de-sac, where I was raised. Gran fed that cattle with the best grass that Gran herself would go to Beacon Hill to cut. Gran used to go to Great Bay very early in the morning, where she closed deals on the sale of the milk and meat of her cattle, then traveled back home to cul-de-sac to instruct the eldest of her 10 children, Mistress Floricia Bailey Brown, my grandmother, to deliver the products, said milk and meat, to her clients in Great Bay. And this was all done by foot, mind you, before the midday hour. Yeah, I don't know how either. I guess time really moved slower back then. But I digress. These are just two examples of some phenomenal women of our island. And so there are many more examples of phenomenal men and women alike. You see, it is important for us to remember where and who we came from, the challenges that our ancestors have overcome for us to be here. Our resilience is no happenstance. It is ingrained in our DNA. So, we owe it to them to give it our all every day, but we also owe it to ourselves and to the future. A future whose blueprint is in our hands as architects of our own future and that of the next generation. A tremendous responsibility. But with our individual and collective brilliance, tenacity, and propriety, we are determined and destined to continue to rise to this challenge. And in doing so, inspire the next generation, as we are inspired by the generation before us. In the event it is not yet evident, or I have not been clear on what our greatest asset is, it is you, our people of this great nation, St. Martin, Swaliga. As leaders of this beloved village, we should take decisions with this asset always in mind. Those decisions taken today ought to be taken with the reverence of our villagers that came before us and with the determination for a sustainable future for the villagers that are to come after us. As it states in our coat of arms, semper progrediens, always progressing. Progress. We stand here today, a country 12 years young. We have endured and weathered many storms in this period, literally and figuratively. We have overcome challenges and accomplished a great deal. And yet, we have many challenges ahead of us. Although daunting, these challenges are not insurmountable. Not only because our people are a spiritual people, a praying people, but also because together we can overcome them. Initial steps to be taken are, in my view, 1, a vision towards the future. A clear course has to be charted moving forward into the future. And whatever that course may be, it needs to be rooted in a commitment to giving the best of yourself. A commitment to caring for the most vulnerable in our society, and a commitment of creating a level and fair playing field with opportunities for all. Decision-making ought to be steered by this humble commitment to the collective good. In this process, we need to hold each other accountable. This applies first and foremost to government, Parliament, and the entire public sector in relation to each other and in relation to the citizens of this country. But this also applies to non-governmental organizations and the private sector businesses, and this in addition to their corporate social responsibility. Society, you see, is but the sum of all its components. If we all play our part, take action in the best interest of all our people, and pay our fair share, the wealth of this village can be distributed more fairly, and every single individual will be able to provide for their family with dignity. Providing continuous enhancement of the quality of life of our people. In the words of the poet S.C. Carter, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. May the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. End quote. Semper progrediens. 2, servant leadership. The best interests of the people. Let that genuinely be our North Star, our lighthouse on dark, desolate waters, our compass, and in our day and age, our Google, Alexa, Siri, it shall be mine. So to be clear, this is why we serve, for our village, its villagers, its greatest asset, for their progress. True progress is only achieved when every single one of us has that equal opportunity to do so. When all in society do not have equal opportunity to prosper, we all fail. Ensuring that the vulnerable within our society are cared for is essential in this. The elderly, the youth, those living with a disability, and those living in poverty. This just to name a few. The topic of mental health is also not to be forgotten in this aspect. 3, financial independence via enhanced sound financial management. Continued improvement of our financial management is needed in order to create fruitful ground for economic and social development. 4, increasing our human capital. We have to continue investing in the youth, and as a result, they and society shall reap the benefits far into their retirement age. And 5, greater self-sustainability. In order to be less susceptible to external shocks, we have to lessen our dependency on imports where possible. Think of alternative energy, produce, and fisheries. In my role as governor, I am here to support government, irrespective of party lines. Know that each and every one of you can count on my support, for I am here to serve on behalf of the people. In respect to my dual role as representative of the King in the capacity of head of government and representative of the kingdom government, I shall, at all times, focus on remaining impartial, and I shall always take action in every and all matters in the best interest of and for the well-being of St. Martin and its people. This in line with the oath I have taken. I would like to thank the St. Martin government and the Kingdom government for the confidence placed in me. I thank all those who have supported me, continue to support me, and have pledged to support me in the future in one way or the other. I won't mention names, you know who you are. Well, I must mention a few. Yeah. As I embark on this journey, I am supported by my village, my wife Shanique, our children, Jared and Chloe, my parents, Joyce Bailey, and my father, Glenn Romney, the rest of my family, and my friends. Although this function, I've been told, is a lonely one, I know I will not be able to carry it out with your support. So I thank you. Without your support, I'm sorry. Did I say with your support? My apologies. Just seeing if you're still up. Okay. To Governor Holliday, mention has been made in the past couple of weeks of filling of shoes and the like. With all the respect due to you, I prefer the African proverb that says, wisdom is like fire. One takes it from the other. So thank you, Excellency, for passing on the torch of wisdom. I shall do my utmost to keep the fire burning. In closing, we are indebted to our ancestors, to those who did the right thing then in order for us to stand here today. And we owe it to those to come after us so they too may stand on higher ground. Our gaze must always remain focused on the long term, on the perpetual forward motion of our nation, our people. Sincerely being the best you can every day and giving of your talents for the betterment of the greater good. Striving for excellence and being good whilst doing so. For the future is watching all of us through a lens of sustainability, visionary, and servant leadership. Who do we want them to see when their gaze is on us? Looking in that mirror called time, reflecting back on every single one of us tasked with this privilege of public service. While it is of cardinal importance that truth is spoken to power, it is of equal importance that the powerful speak truth to one another. Madam Chair Lady, people of my beloved St. Martin, it is a privilege and honor which I shall do my utmost to serve and carry out with respect, integrity, dignity, and grace. I, Ajamo Glenston Bailey, hereby accept the office of Governor. Thank you, God bless you all, and God bless our great village, St. Martin.
Address. With this distinguished guest, I would like to officially congratulate His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Ajamo G. Bailey, LLM, on accepting the office of Governor of St. Martin. I hereby adjourn this meeting. I hereby congratulate His Excellency the Governor, Mrs. Bailey Colfin, son Jared Bailey, daughter Chloe Bailey, the entire family, and the people of St. Martin on this historic moment. On behalf of the Parliament of St. Martin, and by extension the people of St. Martin, I would like to wish His Excellency the Governor much wisdom, health, strength with the task ahead. We look forward to continuous support, cooperation towards the betterment of the country of St. Martin. I would like to now ask the Reception and Departure Committee to accompany His Excellency the Governor and his entourage to the conference room. Please rise for the exit of His Excellency the Governor. I would like to thank the Reception and Departure Committee for the splendid execution of their task. You are herewith discharged for your duties. Members of Parliament, ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your presence at this solemn meeting of Parliament on the occasion of the acceptance of the office of Governor of St. Maarten by His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Ajamo G. Bailey, LLM, the Governor of St. Maarten, effective today, October 10, 2022. I herewith close this meeting.
The dignitaries of the French side will now exit the hall as well and make their way to the conference room. I would now like to invite the son and daughter of His Excellency the Governor, along with their chaperones, to exit the hall and make their way to the conference room. I now invite the former Governor of St. Maarten and spouse to exit the hall. The members of Parliament and the Council of Ministers may now also exit the hall and make their way to the Saraswati Square to view the inspection. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience. You may now also exit the hall and make your way outside of the building to view the inspection. Please follow the directions of the staff of the Secretariat to view the parade.
Raise your mic. I can't hear Ruby. Oh, God. Kom eraan. You want? Yeah. Alright. Hand.
Oh! Get off! Clear! Off the clock! Road!
Let me know. Okay, I think I'm too far from the receiver. Yeah, I have to signal. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that should be it. Alright. Okay. Let me know when Junior on, so I can release my arm. Yeah, I'm good. My signal gone? Yeah.
Hit him up! Hey! Up! Listen there! Clear!
Vamos!
Yep. Alright, I got it then.
Commandant van de erewacht. Want de erewacht die heeft een inspectie. Excellentie, mag ik u uitnodigen voor het inspecteren van de erewacht. Zet op! Geweer! In orde van inspectie! Presenteer! Geweer!
That is a serious one.
Zet op! Geweer! Op de plaats! Reus!
Let me know. I'm following him. Alright.
Erewacht! Huis! Af! Over! Klaargesteld. Voorwaarts. Maar.
The governor, as of October 10, 2010, the Netherlands comprises 4 countries: Aruba, Curaçao, the Netherlands, and Saint Martin. As a result, the governor, as of October 10, 2010, the Kingdom of the Netherlands comprises 4 countries: Aruba, Curaçao, the Netherlands, and Saint Martin. As a result, St. Martin has its own governor as of that day. The governor functions as an organ of country St. Martin and an organ of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The king of the Kingdom of the Netherlands is King Willem-Alexander. Because the king cannot be in all 4 countries simultaneously, a governor is appointed to represent the king in the other countries. The governor is the head of the government of St. Martin. As head of government, the governor is immune and the ministers are responsible. Together with the ministers, the governor forms the government of St. Martin and as such exercises executive powers. These executive powers are related to the establishment and announcement of national ordinances and the signing of national decrees containing general measures, the appointment, suspension, and dismissal of civil servants, the management of the finances and properties of St. Martin, the granting of suspension of sentence and dispensations, and granting permission for military aircraft and vessels of a foreign power to enter airspace or territorial waters of St. Martin. Other functions of the governor are, in the hands of the governor, the accepting of official duty and taking the oath or the declaration and affirmation by, among others, members of parliament, ministers, members of the council of advice, members of the general audit chamber, the attorney general, and judges. Delivering the governor's address in a meeting of parliament at the beginning of the new parliamentary year, which is on the 2nd Tuesday of September. This address outlines the plans and policies of the government. Being the chairman of the Council of Advice and having an advisory function and participating in the legislative branch of government by presenting draft national ordinances for approval to Parliament and enacting them after approval. The governor is also an organ of the kingdom and as such represents the government of the kingdom. As an organ of the kingdom, the governor in regards to St. Martin guards the general interests of the kingdom, is responsible for the implementation of kingdom law, general administrative measures and international treaties, and oversees compliance of those treaties. For this reason, the governor is involved in maintaining the independence and the defense of the kingdom, foreign relations, the Dutch nationality, and the regulation of the knighthoods or royal decorations. The governor unifies the countries of the kingdom in the absence of the king. The bond/unity is manifested in the role of the governor as representative of the king and kingdom government in St. Martin. Today, October 10, 2022, the country St. Martin will have its second governor, His Excellency Meester Adjamo G.